shocking result. What was shown in this series on this day.
When you look back, it's easy to see what you could have done differently. But when you're on that journey, putting one foot in front of the other, there's no looking back. There's only forward. And there's usually something or someone standing in your way. Even the most skilled have to fall before they can rise. But you can't let a stumble end your journey. You get back on your feet and find people to help you, inspire you, push you to be your best. You'll remember the wins, the losses, and every step will be a lesson learned. But if you leave everything you have in that arena, you might leave your legacy too.
He's going in for the reset!
When you look back, you'll see that success is a journey, not a destination. Because you never know where that next step will take you. Are you ready to lock in?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Summer Finals. We're coming to you live from the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Ontario. We've been long overdue for a Canadian Finals, and the fans here are amped up, ready to cheer on Cloud9 and TSM, who battle today for the title of the North American Champions. Amazing cosplay scene in the house as Dunkmaster Darius, TSM fans, and Twisted Fate has eyes on the wrist as TSM gets that Weldon effect one more time before hitting the rift. Cloud9 fans as well showing up in droves. Team swag all around as that team leader, Jensen, and the rest of the crew, he leads them through the arena, being the man in the mid lane and one of the very big reasons they've made it to this point today. Hello, everyone. I'm Rivington Bisson III, back on the analyst desk today with Mark Zimmerman, Alberto Crumsren, Hefo, and adding a bit of Sam Kobe, Hartman Kensler. Gentlemen, welcome to the desk. Boys, welcome back. It's going to be a fantastic day, maybe even more hype than yesterday.
Thank you, Riv. I have to say, Dyrus is an amazing narrator. That was some Morgan Freeman level stuff right there with the intro video.
That's that tear you were talking about as it comes in slowly. Well, we got to wipe those away, clear eyes as we look ahead to today's games. First, let's quickly look and review the playoff bracket. Immortals lost their semifinal bout, but rebounded in yesterday's match to take third place over Counterlogic Gaming. And today's final will determine the winner of the summer split, with Cloud9 battling through the quarterfinal and semifinals now to face off against Team Solo Mid. In addition to the championship title, today's winners will also auto-qualify as North America's first seed to Worlds. The second seed will be determined by cumulative championship points earned across the season, and TSM is currently in first place, which guarantees them a spot regardless of today's outcome. But if they win today's match, that means they also secure that sweet first seed. Remaining teams will face off in the regional qualifier with seeding determined again by those championship points. Crazy stuff, a lot to be had here as the games go, and as we said, some teams kind of changing their faith in hopes of a win for others. But now the players are ready to take to the stage, so let's lock in with Black and Nola to introduce our finalists.
The North American Summer Split is about to come to a close. We've seen teams rise against the odds and show us what it means to achieve victory, what it means to be strong. Tonight, right now, everything rests on this summer final. And so I say to you, to the thousands in attendance tonight, and to the millions watching across the world, live from the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Ontario, this battle's about to explode! Introducing first, making their 5th appearance in the LCS Finals, And vying for their third championship title, it's perennial powerhouse, Cloud9!
He's going for the pentakill. He's going to try to chase it. Pentakill for Jensen.
Cloud9 look for their fifth final, and they're going as a wonderful team.
In the top lane, it's Season 3 World Champion, Impact! Jungling is 2013 Summer Split MVP, Meteos! Making his finals debut in the mid lane, Jensen! At 80 carry, two-time LCS champion, Sneaky! Also, making his finals debut, it's supporter Smoothie! Coaching for Cloud9, it's Reaper! Toronto, make some noise! This is Cloud9! Introducing their opponents. They're the only team to qualify for every LCS final and every World Championship. TSM!
Tapping failed the two. Rudy diving back in, but the damage is massive.
TSM will take it, and they will challenge C9 for the finals of the NA LCS Summer Split.
In the top lane, semifinals player of the series, Hudson! In the jungle, three-time LCS finalist, Sven Skaren! It's three-time LCS split MVP in the mid lane, Bjergsen! At 80 carry, it's the all-time LCS kill leader. Give it up for Double Lift. At support, it's the rookie of the split, Biofrost. And coaching for TSM, the coach of the split, Hard. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear one more time for TSM. One last time, let's give it up for both our combatants, Cloud9 and TSM.
Well, last play we got on the biggest stage and we lost by inches. So this time I think we're just out to get redemption.
TSM will take it. They will head to Toronto for the finals.
We didn't even go to playoffs at all summer last year. Only went to the first round, ring split. but now I'm here again, finally back in the finals.
Cloud9's 5th appearance in the finals.
This is two teams that have been fighting for the final spot a lot of times. I think it's a really awesome final to get to play.
Claiming the championship and becoming like the team with the most number of LCS titles, it's a pretty historic thing.
It would mean a lot to me, getting another title.
이번 저희가 우승을 해야지 롤드컵 직행 갈 수 있고 저희가 준우승을 하면 갈 가능성이 떨어져요. 그래서 꼭 우승해야 돼요.
If we end up losing this final, everyone's going to be questioning how strong we'll be going into Worlds. If we dominate and beat C9, everyone's going to be looking at us.
An incredible abundance of energy here coming from the crowd. Same as yesterday, even turning it up to 11 and 12 here for these teams. And I actually have to compose myself so I don't just play-by-play the rest of this cast because I am overexcited right now for this game.
Hey, just settle down a little bit, Riv. You're frothing at the mouth a little bit.
No more energy drinks. We're going to get into this one quite soon. While the teams are about to ready up on stage, let's get into this matchup. Neither TSM nor Cloud9 are strangers to the championship match. They have a storied history of competing against each other in the finals. Last time these teams faced off in the finals was 2015 spring, where TSM ultimately defeated 3-1 Cloud9. And in that time, both organizations have seen some roster changes, with only Bjergsen returning to TSM and Meteos and Sneaky coming back to Cloud9.
And the crazy thing to me is it almost feels like Cloud9, despite having more members, has overgone more of a change in how their team works, because Bjergsen has always been the focus for TSM, whereas C9 was kind of defined by High, and it's a great story for C9 to get back in there without him.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. Make sure that they can actually play without that leader that they've relied on for so much, and now that they brought in that addition of the coaching staff, that they're able to actually do it, and we see just how scary they are. Even from the beginning of this split, TSM, their #1 concern has been Cloud9 is really good.
Especially Cloud9 releasing Meteos, having an off time, and then coming back. Anytime you bring a player back, you have to be very worried about how they're going to remesh with the team and work with the new guys, and it is working out very well for them.
Yeah, we really wondered, because Meteos had taken a step back saying, you know, that drive wasn't there, I need to find it. And plays like this, it reminded you why he was called King of the Jungle.
And the big thing was, too, he said he went through a bit of a maturation process where he was fine taking criticism from people who he didn't agree with necessarily, because back when he had issues with Jensen the first time that they played together, both of them thought they were 100% right and they couldn't see each other's side.
When they qualified for this matchup and I interviewed Meteos afterwards, he said the biggest improvement that he's made in himself is recognizing his own mistakes and always looking for that self-improvement.
Now, despite meeting again in the finals, as we've been saying, we have to recognize that both teams look different in the roads to get here. TSM have been dominating North America all summer long, while Cloud9 had ups and downs, but were able to drive it home in the playoffs, and we actually see Cloud9 really excel in these times. I mean, Gauntlet last year.
This is the time that if TSM can perform here how they have all split, they'd solidify themselves as the best team that North America has ever had. I mean, they have the macro, they have the micro, they're going everywhere, they work as a team. What does this team not do? It's insane, and to be honest, it's getting a lot of people very hyped for what the international stage brings.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just the players, too, of course. Their coaching staff has been overhauled a decent amount. They brought in Weldon. Parth has always kind of been there, but stepped up into a bigger role recently, as well as just the fact that both these teams have a plethora of off-site analysts and some even on-site.
Yeah, they've made a wide variety of coaching staff changes and very public ones, so people are very aware of all those changes too. And then if you do go down the lineup here, there's no one weakness that anyone can really point to on the TSM lineup, and that's what's giving fans the most hope.
Well, they play so patient. They look for just the tiny little advantages, wait for the perfect time to exploit them, and then they just explode and just take over a game out of seemingly nowhere, which is what we saw from multiple World Championship teams for the previous years, and that's where the hype is coming from this team.
Right, but the good thing is when you pair them up against C9, the fact is that C9 doesn't really have anyone you point to like, oh, that guy's a liability a little bit. He can't do these certain things. Their team is also extremely well-rounded and has been just slowly getting better throughout the course of the split with like a small hiccup in the middle.
So looking at actually what came in for Cloud9, this was a bit of a different season because Reaper said he had to come in, do so many coaching changes. Do we feel like this is a Cloud9 we actually haven't seen before reaching the finals and they could actually do much more?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think that we can actually expect how well they're going to play because of the ramp-up that they've had so far. We saw them play really, really well against Immortals, and you know, rumor has they're going really well in Super Saiyan mode going into this one, and I think that's going to make for a pretty exciting finalist, maybe 3-2.
Okay.
All of the players on Cloud9 are very quick to give props to Reaper and talk about how much he's improved the team, improved the communication, and really drawn them together as a full unit.
And one guy they can absolutely look to is someone they have in the top lane is the guy who's been to Worlds, the guy who's won a Worlds, and that's Impact.
Yeah, I think the fact that he brings that veteran leadership that basically no one else on this stage really has, having won a world championship, performed literally on the biggest stage available in this game, you know? And to have that kind of composure is something that's very hard to find in the scene.
And Impact's dominant performance in the playoffs was a primary factor in Cloud9's recent success, earning Player of the Series in the semifinals against Immortals. But as we heard in the team introductions, Hanser was also Player of the Series last week and has been a top performer coming in here for TSM all split long. Definitely a lane to keep an eye on.
And both these players at first were kind of questioning just how good are they, and by the time it got to the semifinal matchup, we saw just that. I mean, Impact by himself, taking so much pressure on his own and just being able to completely nullify any efforts that Immortals had with the Rain over Huni matchup. And then on the other side, Hanser just taking over games by himself, just solo laning, using that gangplank to pretty much perfect effect. And it's going to be a battle of the Rams in the top lane.
Yeah, and the most important thing for me in the top lane matchup is that both of these guys have demonstrated that what good looks like for the top lane is not just overpowering your enemy and winning in CS or beating a 1 versus 1. It's the ability to absorb enemy jungle pressure, avoid ganks, avoid the enemy team collapsing on you without giving up so much.
Right, and I think that's a really good thing to point out, just because what Impact had done so well was deal with the Huni Rain over tag team. But what's interesting is that TSM doesn't really play that way. Hanser was 9th in terms of jungle assistance throughout the regular season, and you know, it's different in the postseason, but it seems like a lot of teams have shied away from pressuring topside. CLG wasn't doing it a ton. Mortals seemed like they weren't doing it that much either. And so it is a question of, will Impact have to absorb pressure or just play the 1v1?
I feel like one of the biggest things for a lot of the top teams right now in this meta is being okay with giving up one part of the map and not trying to win the entire map at the same time.
Give and take.
More resources down to a concentrated place has seen success.
I think that has a lot to do with the AD carry matchups that we see. We see Jhin, Ashe, Sivir hit level 6, go bot lane, go for that dive right away. And that's why the top lane champions are just so powerful in going for those dives. We don't see the Aurelias, the Fioras. We see the Gnar, the Shen, the Gangplanks that can just utilize their ultimates to just completely wreck the bot side. And the teams that are diligent with using that TP advantage or global are just going to go off in the bot lane.
All right, boys. Well, I have an idea. I'll say gentlemen. We're all grown up here. I have an idea of what you're going to say throughout the analyst desk here, but I do have to ask you for predictions. Today, we are going to graph them out, put them on the screen. Yesterday was different. We're keeping track today, and I'm coming back. Mark, starting with you.
All right, I'm going to go 3-1 TSM. I think it's really close. I think they match up individually extremely well, but I think the thing that scares me is that C9 plays a slower style, and TSM has shown that they will just grind you down with small advantages, and I think that those might add up over time for TSM. But the scary thing is, of course, that we've heard a lot out of C9's camp about how well they're doing.
Mark is wavering a little bit. He said 3-0 yesterday.
No, I said 3-1 yesterday.
Okay.
You weren't even selected for like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, wait.
It's like, oh, wait, I might change my mind. Nothing's even going to happen in game. Crumbs.
I'm going to go with TSM 3-2 for this. I don't think that it's going to be a very lopsided matchup. And even that prediction seems a little bit risky just because of how close these teams are. Both of them perform so differently in their practice, and when they play on the stage, it's going to be massively different. And because of their champion pools are just pretty much identical, it's hard to give it to one team just from the gate. So it's going to be all about the adaptation inside the draft, and both of these teams do it wonderfully.
Yeah. I mean, what Crumbs is alluding to here is a lot of the information. It's always so risky to place your bets on a team based off scrim information or things that you've heard secondhand through players and players' perceived improvements.
Well, they haven't played against each other in 2 weeks.
Everyone is saying how much Cloud9 has improved. And I have to say, I'm going to go one step further than Crumbs, and I will be the one to take Cloud9. I'm going to go 3-2 because I do think it's going to be difficult. TSM have looked impeccable this season, and that's why everyone's so scared to not pick TSM.
It's definitely going to be an amazing matchup. What kind of flexes that for you for Cloud9? Is it sort of lanes or how they've been ramping up?
I say it has a lot to do with both Meteos and Smoothie. While Biofrost is the Rookie of the Year support, and he's been amazing, Smoothie's kind of gone under the radar, and people have been talking a lot about his willingness to pick up these melee supports, sneaky in lane. All the memes that go along with that, I don't know where those started, but they actually look pretty good now.
All right, we'll see how it turns out. This is the 5th time TSM and Cloud9 have met in the finals. In their previous final matchups, each team has been victorious twice. This is the best of 5 to win the best of 5 now, and their rivalry is something Bjergsen has known since his start in North America.
I think when I first joined TSM, the C9 rivalry was all about we had the better individual players, but they had a really good shot calling, and they had a lot better teamwork and macro. So every time we fought them, everyone was like, is TSM going to smash them in lane to snowball? And C9 was kind of considered the smarter team. I think they're more consistent, and I think obviously TSM and C9 are really different teams, and I don't think their rivalry is as it was back then. But when I first joined the team, that was the most hyped up match, was facing C9, who was our rival.
Hello, everyone, and